So what stood out to me the most with the Blue Man Group performance is that there were a few moments when I was just thinking to myself, what is going on right now? And that's a good thing, because that means that they reached the ultimate threshold in terms of dramatic climax, when the audience is being stimulated in so many ways that it almost pushes past the capacity of perception and what could be processed or absorbed all at once from an aesthetic experience. So it did become an immersive experience rather than something to think about. They had toilet paper everywhere in the crowd, huge balloons, liquid, percussive music, digital images, props. Everybody was confused and not really knowing what to expect, and it basically reached some form of controlled chaos. And any show that's 1 or 2 hours long is not going to be perfect during every moment for every person, but for it to lead to those sorts of climaxes makes any lackluster moments forgivable. The other highlight for me was the music and the fact that it was live. The arrangements were extremely detailed and tightly choreographed, in addition to being rhythmically complex. So I was amazed by the music, but also by the fact that the band might have memorized it. They were on a platform above the stage in the dark with some kind of glow-in-the-dark outfits, so I don't think that they could have read any of the music unless it was showing on a screen in front of them, but that's entirely possible. As a drummer myself, I was also impressed with the technical skill and precision of the actual Blue Men whenever they did play, and it made me wonder what these guys studied or what career path they took to end up here, since it's such an unusual stage and it's so specific. I like how they incorporated a few universal, and you might even call them existential, themes, and also how our lives are integrated with digital media and technology. And some of what they did in reference to that, like creating giant interactive surfaces that they could disappear behind and reproject themselves onto somehow, was all pretty clever, but I think you would call it more interesting than entertaining. And you might say some of it was clever just for the sake of cleverness. Some of it reminded me of things that could be done in a gallery space as more of an art installation, but they were able to bring that sort of practice and element to the stage, which was impressive. Some parts, and even some parts of the music, was not really my cup of tea and a little bit corny, but still, you have to consider that they cater to a wide audience, and there was never a moment when I felt that I could put my head down or that I didn't want to see what would happen next. So the element of mystery and tension especially keeps you engaged, if nothing else, and the parts that you don't like so much don't last very long, and then by the end you still want to see more. So overall, this is one of the first times that I stayed engaged for an entire performance or presentation of some sort, whether it was a film or music or anything else. I would also emphasize that, like pretty much anything else, it's totally different when you see it in person than on video. I would say probably 80% better. So if you saw it on video, I would say go see it if you have the extra money. Otherwise, if you have no idea about it, I recommend seeing it if you're looking for something affordable in Vegas or whatever city they happen to be in.